My mom let her abusive boyfriend ruin our childhood and lost custody because of it. Now 5 years later, she wants us to do family therapy together so we can heal and be a family again. Posted by you/Pure Clown Energy. Hello all, I, 23F, am in a bit of a pickle, and currently, the majority of my family is against me. My mother, 41F, has 6 kids in total, myself, my sisters, 22F, 19F, 17F, 16F, and my brother, 23M. Growing up was pretty much hell for all of us. My mother never had a good track record of picking good men, and many times, my siblings and I witnessed her boyfriends beating or berating her. Her second boyfriend would often hit us when we were younger as well. There's a lot more to it, but then this post would be very long. However, about 5 years ago, my mother lost custody of my 3 younger sisters due to SA from her most recent ex-boyfriend. We didn't want our sisters in foster care, so my brother and I begged our grandmother to take them in until we could come up with a plan or take custody ourselves. Dramatic, I know, but in my eyes, it has always been my siblings and me against the world. My grandmother, the saint she is, took my sisters in and told my brother and me not to worry about getting custody because we should be focusing on our lives in college. While we were hesitant at first, we decided to head off to college to build up some stability. I ended up dropping out of college because I couldn't afford the tuition, but my brother graduated last year. My sisters have been happy living with my grandmother, and she loves having them around. She always says she gets to see her grandbabies every day, and it's a blessing. They are comfortable living with her, and my grandmother has no plans to stop caring for them. Now, back to my mom. When she lost custody, my siblings, my grandmother, and I all went no contact with her. About 2 months ago, my mother emailed me, saying she wanted to reconnect and do family therapy. At first, I didn't mention it to my siblings because, in a sense, I felt like I was protecting them. However, she sent me a second email the following month, explaining that she had broken up with her boyfriend and really missed us. She wanted to do family therapy because she had a lot of built-up pain, and she knew we probably did as well. I talked to my grandmother about it, and she told me I should ask my siblings and let it be their choice. When I spoke to my siblings, the youngest ones were on board because they missed our mom. However, my other siblings and I were hesitant. But for the sake of my younger siblings, I responded to my mom, and we set up a time to meet. About 3 weeks ago, we met at a restaurant. My mother looked exhausted but eager to see us. I declined a hug because I wasn't comfortable with it, and my mother looked pissed. As we caught up, she asked if my younger siblings would consider coming back home and if she could regain custody. My younger siblings seemed unsure, and I could tell they were uncomfortable. I tried to change the subject, but my mom brought it back up. She kept talking about how we could be a family again now that we were older and how she wanted to rebuild what was broken. The rest of the meeting became a blur for me because I mentally checked out. A lot of buried emotions resurfaced, and I shut down. Later that night, I received an email from my mom saying she was really upset that I didn't hug her or say goodbye. She said it was giving a bad impression to my younger siblings and that they might start mistreating her as well. I'm not going to lie, that email filled me with anger because she had a lot of audacity. I didn't respond, but I soon received another email, which was just a confirmation for our first family therapy session. We had the session yesterday. It started with the usual introductory process and familiarization. Later in the session, my mom kept going on about how she did everything she could to protect us, etc. The silence from my siblings and me was loud, and the therapist asked how we felt about what she said. My other siblings stayed quiet. I wasn't planning on speaking either, but then my mom said something that made me snap. She told the therapist that I had told my siblings not to say anything because I wanted to turn them against her and that she had scheduled this session to bring us together, not tear us apart. At that moment, I lost it. I started screaming that she wasn't a good mother and that she did nothing to protect us. She constantly vented to me about her relationships and problems, which led me to internalize her issues as my own. She never protected my brother when her boyfriends beat him for trying to defend her or my sisters. She never even thought to report her ex when my sisters first came to her about the abuse they suffered at his hands. I went off about a lot of other things, but by that point, she was bawling, and so were my siblings. I told the therapist that if anyone was splitting the family up, it was her, with her stupidity, ignorance, and outright neglect. I was breathing heavily after my outburst, and looking back, I'm not proud of how I lost control. The therapist suggested we take a break, but I told them I was done. I refused to sit there and listen to her try to blame me for her actions and problems. The session ended quickly after that. Later that night, my phone started blowing up with calls and texts from my mother's side of the family. They berated me, saying I was a horrible person for hurting my mother and making her feel terrible. They ranted about how she was trying to turn over a new leaf and rebuild a relationship with us. After all the calls and texts, I've been feeling like a crappy person for what I said to my mom. So, honestly, am I the jerk here? Up in the comments. I honestly don't even know where to begin. I'm crying because the support has been extremely overwhelming, and for once, I feel heard and seen, outside of my grandmother, of course. I truly appreciate the support. I have tried to read all the comments, but they keep rolling in. Again, thank you guys so much. I will add some context since I didn't elaborate much before because I didn't want to type a novel and make anyone read so much. My grandmother, she is my mom's mom. She cut my mom off because my mom would constantly steal money from her or sneak boys into the house, knowing my grandmother wouldn't approve. My grandmother is an SA survivor of my grandfather, my mom's dad. She actually took him to court to get him arrested, which is why she is essentially the black sheep to the majority of our family. My grandmother explained to me when I was much older that our family has a lot of SA history involving family members. Our family is highly religious and believes that we should pray over them every day to heal them. Why I felt awful, my mother is also a victim of abuse, and I felt like a hypocrite for calling her out and saying what I did, as if I wasn't taking her abuse into account. However, as many of you have mentioned, even as a victim, she still allowed the abuse to happen. I think reading that is what made me start crying. My siblings and I never got counseling because we just thought it was our fault that we experienced the abuse. In our past conversations, we often try to carry the burden of not protecting our mom more. My mom's side of the family, they are enablers and abusers themselves. My grandmother has countless stories about them. I feel as though a part of them wants my siblings and me to make up so we can appear to be a happy family. They have a serious issue with appearances. My siblings, my brother is the real star of the show, honestly. Before we even made it to the first session, he told my youngest sister that our mom would probably say a lot of things, but if she wasn't ready to talk or if she wanted solo therapy, he would pay for it in full. After the session, she decided to go for it because she has a lot of complicated feelings about our mom. My other sisters are still emotionally distraught. They thanked me for speaking the truth and saying what needed to be said. They said they couldn't say anything because they didn't know how to word it. Like me, they didn't want to be cruel. I truly appreciate all of the comments and the reassurance. I sent my grandmother the post, and she said all of you guys are rock stars and that the majority of you are right, that my mother is a C&T. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to ask. This has been a huge step for me in getting my own therapy because I let a lot of this build up over the years. My tangent to my mom went on for a few minutes before I had to stop because I was so pissed. Update 1 day later. Hey all, update for those who wanted it. Also, heavy abuse trigger warning because I will get emotional and vent a bit later on in this update. If you are a childhood abuse survivor, I wouldn't recommend reading past this since it could possibly be triggering. My siblings and I have decided to go no contact with our mother for good. It was a hard conversation this morning, and I felt like a jerk again. I felt like my outburst persuaded them to make that decision so I wouldn't be upset with them. Yet they reassured me throughout the whole conversation that they didn't like that she didn't even apologize, even when she had the opportunity to. My siblings and I are still struggling with the fact that she won't change, and she probably never will. The driving force for it was the email I got from my mother at 4 a.m. today. I copied and pasted it here. Dear Juju, my nickname when I was younger, I'm truly hurt and devastated that you went public with a private matter. Your Auntie May showed me your Reddit post, and yet you continue to try to villainize me. I was going to explain myself further in therapy, but I'm in a new relationship now with a very loving man. He was the main one who encouraged me to extend an olive branch to you all. I was going to surprise you and your siblings in therapy. However, you ruined it. I stayed my distance from you all because, after losing your sisters, it made me realize I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror anymore. It made me realize how much of a worthless piece of crap I was. You calling me a worthless WHRE of a mother was uncalled for. In those relationships, I couldn't just simply walk away. Where would I have gone? What about you guys? Do you not think it ate me up inside every time you cried? Every time I did try to protect you guys, only to get the crap beaten out of me? Being knocked out cold and not knowing if you were safe or not? Did any of that not matter to you? I'm trying to redeem myself while also being a victim, and you simply can't get your own head out of your rear. You bitch and complain about your pain, not realizing I was a victim too, Juju. We all were. I hate to sound harsh, but you're an adult and can hear these things now. I tried my damn hardest to protect you all. For you to crap on all my effort in your rant and call me almost every name in the book in front of our therapist, your siblings, and the blatantly visible disrespect to me? All of it was truly uncalled for. I will not have contact with you until you apologize to me for what you said. You broke my heart, Juju, but Mama still loves you. And me going no contact with you is to show that you can't just hurt someone because you yourself are hurting. I will be over to see your sisters later at my mom's place to talk one-on-one with them. I would appreciate it if you were there to apologize. But if you will not, then I highly ask that you not be there. The email really crushed me. I completely understand that she was a victim as well. Like I also mentioned to a kind Redditor who messaged me last night, she did provide what she could. Yet there were many moments we either went hungry or without some necessities. One of my most embarrassing moments was asking strangers on the street for money so my sisters and I could get pads and tampons. My mom's third boyfriend threw ours out because he didn't believe in periods. That whole ordeal, among others, was so damn humiliating. I got a mixture of anger and sadness when she said she tried her hardest to protect us. Where was that determination when her boyfriends would beat the hell out of me and my older brother because we didn't want them alone with our sisters or touching our younger sisters? Where was she when she heard me getting essayed in the room right next to her and heard me screaming for her? It's just an overwhelming sorrow because, in her eyes, she did her best. But in my eyes, she did absolutely nothing, and I told her as much, and then some, in our session. Like many of you pointed out, she may have been a victim, but she did nothing to protect us. I have to sit with that for the rest of my life? My siblings have to deal with that for the rest of their lives. I have to work through all the damage she caused while she gets to play hero and have her redemption arc? I'm done with her, and I'm happy to know the feeling is mutual according to her. She did call my grandmother this morning during breakfast and demanded that she let her see her kids. My grandmother told her that she could try, but she wasn't coming past the gate unless my sisters wanted her to. My grandmother put her phone on speaker and asked my sisters if they wanted to see her. My youngest sister actually responded this time and said no. And not for a very long time, at the minimum. My mom tried to scream at my grandmother, but I could hear her voice cracking from trying not to cry on the phone. My grandmother told her she could go F herself, not to call her again. After that, the conversation about no contact went into overdrive. My siblings have their own memories of her to account for. They aren't comfortable with me sharing them, so I really just shared mine and a bit of my brother's. It's all just so surreal to me. I thought that maybe she was actually okay with being alone, but here she is, not being truthful about when she broke up with her most recent ex. I didn't ask because I don't even care anymore. Yet she's already in a new relationship? It's hard to grasp that my mother just can't be alone. I even feel disgusting calling her my mother because it stings to know that she never really was a mother. Not to me or my siblings. For my family members who have been messaging me, I just blocked them on every social media platform. They stopped trying to call me since I set up my phone with an app to reject all calls from unknown numbers that aren't in my contacts. As for my mom, I copied and posted my response here. Victoria, since you are no longer my mother, I have no need for formality. You make me absolutely sick to my stomach. You know the pain you caused me and my siblings. You know you didn't do crap. You know that you never even had a grain of maternal instinct. If you did, you never would have allowed us to get hurt. I know you can't sleep at night with those thoughts running around in your head. I hope for the rest of your life, it eats you up inside. Your new boy toy will be the only thing by your side when you're frail and almost dust. I'm done allowing you to hurt not only me but my brother and sisters as well. You have no right to try to prance your happy, fake face into our lives now that you see we are doing well without you. It hurts, doesn't it? To know that even through all the BS, we are 10 times better people than you could ever imagine in your twisted little head. You don't have to worry about me contacting you. I will have nothing to do with you. Even after your death, I will have no connection and, hopefully, no memories of you. You may still be alive and breathing, but to me, you are a shallow corpse of a stranger, and I intend to keep it that way. You live in a fantasy world, and I hope on your deathbed, you have such a crippling feeling of regret that you croak on the spot. Don't ever contact me or my siblings again. My brother wants you to know he'll spit on your grave if he ever finds out you died, so sleep well with that, you effing beach. I'm not too proud of my response, but at this point, she is dead to me. She should have been a long time ago, but it felt so good to get that pain from the most internal part of my chest. I'm pretty sure she won't put up a fight since my words hurt her so much. If she does and her antics are crazy enough, I'll update again. However, for now, I'm taking a well-deserved break and signing myself up for therapy. I realize I have a lot of anger and resentment built up that I need to work through correctly and positively. Thank you all for the support and kind messages. I will be posting some of them on a vision board to help me through therapy. Thank you, Reddit, so much for being here in a time of need for a stranger. Love you all.